I have a little bit of a secret. The show segment is called Secret Lovers. Hey guys, it is your co-host MJ and
Leslie Nicole here.
We thank you guys so much for tuning in again to Freedom Girls Talk. Tonight's episode is a little on the serious side.
For sure.
But we definitely want to make sure that you have an open mind and an open heart as we talk about this topic. It is called Secret Lovers.
Right.
I would sing for you, but you know.
Yeah.
It's a little serious and I might start laughing. So, Secret Lovers. So we're going to hit a couple of different things tonight. And so, again, we just want you to have an open mind and an open heart and be willing to hear what we have to talk about tonight. So stay tuned.
Right. So why Secret Lovers, MJ? Why are we calling this whole thing Secret Lovers?
So we're calling it Secret Lovers because a couple of weeks ago, I literally was just thinking about all of the sexual activity in this world. I mean, that's a lot of sex. But most of my concern came from my heart and my sadness when it comes to leadership in the body of Christ and within the church, and looking back on previous experiences of my own, of it being a big secret and needing the secret to be not a secret anymore, and letting a little light shine on things. You know how people say like when the lights are off, all the roaches are out, right? Mm-hmm. Like they are all over the place. But when you turn the light on, they scatter. And so that is really my heart tonight, and just speaking things as if they were, and speaking about this issue of secret lovers and sex and a couple of other different topics we will hit on tonight, bringing light to the issue so that Satan cannot have any more power.
Right, he needs to flee.
He needs to flee like those doggone roaches in the dark. So,
so the very first topic that we're going to talk about, as far as like the secret lovers and not doing right by God, is sex and pornography. I know that pornography is huge, and I'm just going to share just a couple of statistics with you.
Yeah.
And some, honestly, may actually blow your mind, as they blew my mind just as right before we started the show. So, when asked about their current relationship with pornography, 40% of the women surveyed identified themselves as an addict. So 40% of women.
40% of women. I would have never thought it was
40%.
A woman issue.
They identified themselves as a pornography addict.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I know.
That's a lot of women.
In a separate question, 60% of the women surveyed admitted to having struggled with porn in the past, while 40% had never struggled with porn.
That's still like a lot, though.
It's massive.
That's like half of the women in the entire world.
Right.
That's a lot of chicks.
Right. Now, what about this? 68% of the women surveyed admitted they use pornography for masturbation, and 71% admitted their masturbation behaviors felt out of control.
I have a little something to say about that. Can I introduce a little bit? So this may be a little surprising, or maybe it's not, because you guys know how free I am. Hallelujah for salvation and forgiveness. There was a point in my life, Leslie, I'm not even sure if I even had that conversation with you, that pornography was a part of my life, and for a short amount of time. And I felt completely icky. And it was a big, gigantic secret. And again, secret lovers. And it doesn't have to be another person. It can be a lover of porn, a lover of seeing sex. And so it stemmed from my past of being molested and going back to those memories of being with women. And that was a thing for me for a couple of months after my divorce. not Deshaun because he's still upstairs. Hallelujah. But it was a thing for me, and it was really hard for me to admit and say out loud because I am a Christian, and Christians don't do that. And Christians don't touch themselves inappropriately, and that is a lie. And so I didn't know that masturbation for women was wrong. Because in the Bible, it talks about spilling seed, and I ain't got no seeds. I only got like a couple I was born with. So I was trying to be literal. Like, I think Jesus might be okay with it because it ain't in the Bible for me. They talk about the men spilling their seed and them not being able to, like, them not supposedly, they should not masturbate. So I struggled for a while with the truth behind that as a woman and as a Christian, like, and come to find out there are a lot of women who were looking at porn, and they also shared the same thing as me, as not viewing it as...
So this may be a surprise for my parents. Sorry, Mommy, Daddy. But
Love you.
I viewed porn. I don't remember how old I was. I wouldn't say I was under 10. I definitely know that I was a teenager-ish.
Yeah.
Where I viewed it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, can't be looking at this.
Right. I felt like Jesus was on the bed.
Oh, girl. Not. I mean, I definitely don't deal with that right now. But anyway, I actually have 2 more things that I want to share with you about pornography, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
That's right. See you guys soon.
Tuning in, we're talking about secret lovers, and on this particular subject matter of pornography. And I just wanted to get your take on this. So I was actually quite surprised when I read the statistic that 90%
of what?
Of our children have been exposed, and they viewed pornography between the ages of 8 and 16.
8? That's like
so 90% of children ages 8 to 16 have actually viewed pornography. Now, hold on a second. My little baby is 7. She's almost 8.
It literally makes me nauseous.
I cannot imagine her looking at pornography.
I wouldn't even know how they would find it.
The thing is, they're on YouTube. They're on the internet, which is why we have to be so cautious and mindful and careful about what we allow our children to look at, allow what technology devices we allow them to have by themselves. If they're in their room and they're under the bed, whatever it is, you got to get on them.
I think it also, just monitoring what they hear.
Yes.
And the music that they hear and the suggestive adjectives that they might hear through songs or even commercials on TV, and because some even commercials are a little, I would consider them pornography, even though sexual activity isn't happening, but they're very sexual. Would you agree?
Oh yeah,
with
that? The words in the songs, things that they watch, it's just the music that they listen to. It's all very.
I just can't believe it's 90%.
90%.
That's like all of our kids.
All of them. So. Please have those conversations with your children.
That's right.
And be careful about what they're watching. And honestly, I shouldn't say honestly, but our boys are the largest consumers of pornography. Yeah. And that's actually ages 12 to 17. So if you have teenage boys and even young children,
8th
boys
grade
and
to
girls,
seniors, guys.
Get on your babies. Now here's one that also kind of shocked me but didn't shock me. But 50% of pastors regularly view pornography.
That just burns my britches.
I'm just thinking about all the churches that I've attended and just be like, have you?
You just want to ask.
Have you?
Sometimes, for me, it makes me want to ask questions in an interview. When you go to a new church, Do you struggle with pornography? Are you faithful to your wife? How do you feel about women? You know, and I know that's a little extreme and possibly overboard, but I really do believe that it's a gigantic issue in the church. Obviously, 50%. That's half of our world changers, supposedly, out there, you know, getting a little unvisually. And so, and let me just tell, it really is an epidemic. And so what happens there is that, and I'm not saying that you cannot be effective as a man of God if you're watching pornography, because there's Holy Spirit can do a lot of things and come in and bless people. However, the growth of your maturity in Christ, as well as the growth and the maturity of your congregation, can and is impacted by what you do and what you say, even those things that are secret.
Right.
And so if you know of a pastor, I would say that's out there, just pray for your pastors, period. Cover your pastors, because sexual issues are so prevalent, regardless, in the church and outside of the church. We live in a sex-forward society.
Yes.
And everything is about how you feel and in the spirit and in the moment kind of living.
Right.
And it's hard and it's difficult. And I think especially for people who are in leadership or who are in churches, because you have this expectation, as which you should, of being holy and righteous. Mm-hmm. And the pressure is there and you want to do it.
Yeah. And the thing is, God can use anyone.
He
can use anyone.
He used MJ. Hello.
He uses me and he uses you. So we're actually going to take another break. Coming up, we're going to talk about one of my struggles, food.
Oh my gosh. We'll see you soon.
The Secrets We Keep from the Youth, a book written by Rodney Smith. Rodney wrote this book with one of his high school students, Jarrell Shaw. Secrets We Keep from the Youth is a book that explores the purpose of education and the media and stresses the importance of being in charge of their education. You can find the secrets that we keep from the youth at www.secretpower.com.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. We're so glad that you're with us this evening as we're talking about secret lovers, those hidden addictions that we have. But mine is not hidden right now. This segment is about, I know, it's just not. I'm very open about it. I've been posting about it on Facebook, social media, about just how I have a true struggle and challenge. I won't call it an addiction because we speak those things as if they were.
That's right.
But I have a true struggle with food. And so I know MJ's going to give us just a few statistics
stats
here
for you. So apparently 3.4 million adults die annually as a result of weight-related complications. I don't even think that it's all obesity either.
Mm-hmm. But it's weight-related.
It's weight-related death. That's a lot of people, you guys. 3.4 million people in this world are dying from weight-related addictions. Does that makes me feel a certain way. Mm-hmm. It makes me kind of sad. 600 million people. 600. That's more than 3.4. 600 million in 2014 were considered to be, we have an obese population. And I think that's a little skewed personally because they said I was obese 2 years ago.
Well, you know, when you talk about that body mass index, and even for our culture, I will say that
we just thick, okay?
Yeah, I'm a thick girl, and I'm like, if I get down to 120 pounds, I'm gonna be a real.
I think you would look a little different.
Yeah,
I was going to say special, but 31% of 1.9 billion. There's 31% of 1.9 billion overweight adults in the nation. Billion. Now that's even more than a million, right?
Yeah, so 31% of 1.9 billion adults are overweight.
Are overweight.
So if we actually did the math on that, that's, I don't know, 30% of 2 billion. I can't do the math.
That's
a lot of
people. Obviously, Leslie and I didn't do good in 3rd grade.
It's like 66 million, 666 million.
That's a lot of people.
I think that's right. It's either 66 or 666.
That's a lot.
There's some sixes.
Are overweight. I think the next one kind of got me, and I feel like I'm a part of that group even still, that there's 43% 43% of people eat emotionally. Like it helps to alter their mood.
That's
now, we can't see y'all, but I'm sure that you're raising your hands like, yeah, girl, that's me.
That's all me.
Don't let me be having a bad day and there is a brownie somewhere in the next, I don't
even eat brownies, MJ.
What
I eat anything in sight. That's the problem. So it's like, for me, it's just like an emotional roller coaster. I'm like, oh, I need some salt. Let me go get some chips. Oh, you know what? Ice cream will make me feel better. Let me go get some ice cream. Oh, you know what? Ooh, I need something sweet. Let me go in the break room. Oh, you know what? They have this, they have this, they have this. And it's, don't let me be on my cycle. Now, that's a whole nother story.
It's a whole
my emotions will go
I feel like women should get a pass once a month. Because there needs to be some salt and sweet for at least 7 days.
Something. So, I mean, the thing is, but how can we control that? I guess that we can talk about that at the end of our show, just giving you some of those tips.
It's I don't know, it's a little difficult. It's just very alarming that that lots of people in this world are struggling with this secret love. And it really is, it's something that can potentially take you away from your family and from the things that matter the most. And so, again, as Leslie said, we will definitely be giving you guys some encouragement at the end of the show. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kristen R. Harris, and I am the author and founder of Empower Moments. Empower Moments are designed to empower women at every stage of their life. As a wife, mom, entrepreneur, and so many other things, I definitely understand the challenges that come along with being a woman. That's why I created Empower Moments. They're simply short devotionals written in a very raw, transparent, and girl talk way. You can grab all of the Empower Moment books over at KristenRHarris.com.
Welcome back to the show where we are talking about secret lovers this evening. In our first segment, we touched on pornography. We just also talked about food. And now we're going to talk about infidelity.
Infidelity. It sucks, let me tell you. I've been there, done that, got a t-shirt and a book to talk about it.
You want to talk about that first, or you want to do our stats first?
I kind of want to do stats first.
So
that you guys can get an understanding of how serious this really is.
Very much so. Very much so.
I'll let Leslie go first.
Okay, so I'm going to represent the men. And then, MJ, you'll represent the women.
I'll represent the chicas.
So, for men, 22% of married men have cheated once. 22% of women have cheated once.
Oh, my gosh. All right, ladies. 15% of married women. So, I think she just said 22.
I said 22.
And I just said 15. Of women have cheated at least once. 15.
Now, what does cheating mean? Ooh, that's
a different thing. I feel like cheating is a lot of different things. So it can be not necessarily even physically, like intercourse. I think cheating, there's a couple different things that fall under cheating.
Could be emotional.
Emotional cheating. That's pretty much it. Emotionally
What
cheating.
about spending time with that person, though? It could be like building a friendship.
Yeah, I guess that can fall into emotional cheating, too, in a bit, because you're building a relationship outside of that with your husband.
Your covenant,
and you're not telling him about it.
Exactly.
and that's not okay. Or her about it for the dudes who may be watching.
Right. So, talking about telling them about it, 22% of men would continue dating their partner who cheated. 22% would continue dating partner. What does that say?
Yeah, they would continue the relationship.
Yeah.
And 28% of women, I can see why that's a little bit higher. We're a little bit more forgiving in nature. 28% of women stay with their man after they cheat. I have also been there and have a T-shirt to prove how wonderful that process was.
Now this one it's kind of alarming. 74% would cheat if they were guaranteed to not get caught. I'm representing the men. 74% would cheat if they were guaranteed to not get caught. What does that say? Does that say that they just want to, tango a little bit more?
Yeah, why not have a little spice,
Have a little fun? Have a threesome?
Seriously,
like, what is it?
And I feel like men who say it just happens, you don't just fall into a vagina, people. That's just not how life works.
Well, that did happen at Switched at Birth when I watched it on Netflix. I'm just saying. And they're teenagers, so, it could happen with adults, too.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, ladies, don't think that you're off the hook because our stat is not too far from there. 68% of us would also cheat if we did not get caught. We would choose to cheat if we knew that our man would never know.
Ladies, for real.
That's just not okay.
It's not.
And let me just tell you a little bit, though. So back in the day when I was going through it and when I was married before, there was infidelity everywhere. I even think that like the dust particles in the air was cheating on each other. Okay? And so I stepped out on my ex-husband after he had stepped out, kind of like a revenge kind of thing, if you will, and not completely 100% intentionally, but intentionally. But I don't do guilt well, and I literally came home, Leslie, moments after it happened, and I told him, I said, "Do you want to know what I just did?" And he was like, "What?" I was like, "I kind of cheated on you, like about an hour ago." Who does that? I could have.
You have a conscience.
It was like I felt like Jesus was there tapping on my shoulder, like, "Ma'am, hello, I'm
what
here."
What are you doing?
And at one point, though, I kind of felt justified in it,
because he did it. It was
because
okay
he
for you
did
to do it.
and there were some other issues going on in our marriage, and some emotional cheating and neglect and rejection and all that wonderful stuff. I felt like my body needed it. And I feel like a lot of women get into, and I'm not sure if men either, they probably have the same thing, but it's not as deep, where if you're not getting something at home and you're feeling neglected or rejected, you in your mind, and you might, it's an okay emotion to feel like you need something, but that need really should be met by your spouse. But you're telling yourself in this awkward time with this other person who you don't have a covenant with, my body needs this. And okay, yeah, we were designed to be sexual beings, but under the law of marriage.
Exactly. So we're going to be right back because we want to give you some tips on how to overcome these secret lovers in your life.
That's right. We'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Thanks for staying tuned.
Did you know that we actually have adultery laws here in the United States of America? Did you know that you could get a life sentence, up to a life sentence for committing adultery in the state of Michigan? Did you know that you could have a Class 1 felony in the state of Wisconsin? Did you know that you could have a $10 fine in the state of Maryland? But did you know that God offers forgiveness for committing adultery? Did you know? Did you know? So welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us this evening as we talk about secret lovers. this is our tip time, and we want to just simply give you some TT time.
That's right.
And give you just some exclusive tips from Freedom Girls and how to deal with the pornography and the food struggles and the infidelity
That's right.
and or cheating on your spouse.
So here's a tip for you guys, and this might seem a little extreme. If you feel like you struggle, if you struggle with pornography, I do encourage you to tell your spouse. Okay, that's tip number 1, 2 for sex and porn. Tell your spouse that you struggle. And number 2, set I forgot what, like how you child's parent control status for your internet, and that way only your spouse has the password, and that you cannot view certain sites from your mobile devices or from your computer. And your spouse has the password. You don't know what the password is. It is setting limitations on what you can view on the internet at all times. And that is, it's a little extreme, but it will help you to overcome. Number 1, telling your spouse, and number 2, setting parental controls so that you cannot view pornography on your phones or through your computer or your smart TV or anything like that. So,
and if you're not married, I would suggest that you tell someone that you trust.
Yeah, tell someone that you trust.
And there is actually a site out there. It's called x3watch.com. And you can actually get weekly emails about the person who you're looking for. I guess who you're watching, or help to keep accountability with. You can get, and it'll actually say no questionable sites, or it'll actually list the different sites that person may have visited, and then you can have open conversation about that.
Yep, so tell someone, bring it to the light, let those roaches scatter, okay?
Yes. Number 2,
food. All right, our favorite topic. Both Leslie and I both love food, but a couple of tips for this. Don't eat after 7 o'clock.
Ooh, Jesus, that's a hard one for me. I don't get home till like 6:30.
It is very difficult. So let's just, 7:30, you should not be eating after a certain time. And you learn to replace your thoughts. Like when I need chocolate. No, you don't. It's more of a, Lord, help me with this issue. Write it down. So one thing that I've been doing lately is replacing negative thoughts with positive affirmation, but I have to write it down. So when you're hungry, or when you think you're hungry because you're probably not really hungry,
drink some water.
Number 1. Number 2, replace that negative thought or that feeling with a positive affirmation about yourself. I am strong. And you say, I want chocolate. Right underneath it, I am strong. You understand? So number 1, drink water. Number 2, self-affirmations to replace those negative thoughts with something positive about yourself, or that you feel like you can achieve in the future.
Yeah. All
right, so the cheating. What tips can I give on you not cheating? Don't cheat. Just kidding. It's very difficult. It's a really difficult thing to talk about, but my one tip would to be, if you have cheated, to repent. Repent and ask the Lord to forgive you. And then you need to go to your spouse and repent to your spouse. But if you're thinking about cheating, here's a tip for you. Again, open up and tell someone. Someone that you trust, that will pray you through the situation. And even if, let's say you're not even a Christian and you just need someone to talk to. Talk to someone that you can trust about your desires and these urges, to help you stay faithful to your spouse. So turn on those lights, scatter those roaches, and tell someone. When we speak out about the issues that we have in life, it is less likely that we will continue to struggle with those things when you have someone in your corner.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything that she's shared with us during this tip time. And we'll actually be right back so we can wrap up the show for you this evening.
Real talk.
Have y'all subscribed yet?
Have you? What are you waiting for?
Like right now. And literally all you have to do is go boing, subscribe. That's it.
And share.
Please, pretty please. You make my day.
Thank you. We love you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. so much for tuning in tonight. We know that this topic is
it's heavy, and it's a very difficult one
Yeah.
to process.
it's
It
a
really
little
is.
heavy. But guess what? Jesus forgives.
He sure does.
And he is awesome. And I know that a lot of times we may come into contact with folks who may not even believe in Jesus. But even for you,
There's still forgiveness.
there is still forgiveness, and there is still grace, and there's still an opportunity to choose the right thing to do. But tonight, we want to leave you with a little encouragement from the hymn himself, from the Bible, from Ephesians 1 and 7. And so in him, and in him it's Jesus Christ, we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the riches of his grace. And so I want to encourage you, if you've been in that space, if you are in that space, there is grace and there is forgiveness through Jesus Christ. I was there. I was there for a long while. I don't know, 13 years ago. And I found redemption through Jesus Christ and through his forgiveness and through reconciling with my ex-husband. And so it can happen. You can live a free life from addiction, from pornography, from food, and from cheating. It can happen. It happened for me. I'm a living witness that Jesus' grace is sufficient and he is real. And let me just tell you, living a free life before yourself and looking into the mirror and realizing that you are free from that guilt and that shame is worth it all.
Amen.
It is worth it all. Turn on the lights and let that guilt scatter away.
That's awesome, MJ. That's really awesome.
Amen.
Like, it's for real awesome. It really is awesome.
God is good.
Yeah. So we thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Be on the lookout for Freedom Girls. Check us out. Of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button
That's right.
right now
Subscribe.
on YouTube, and check us out next week as we are live on Facebook. We thank you again for tuning in. Just remember that we are two women,
2 wives,
2 moms,
with one mission.
and that is to live a free and transparent life. We thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.